but not limited to. Even New York Times' own journalists leaking to the press that their screams without words coverage that detailed and genuinely editorialized like October 7, claiming that mass had happened in the hands of Hamas militants and it was directed by Hamas, was not meeting the editorial standard of the paper of record. Okay, this my slander would kill my self-esteem. I don't know how you do it. I just know I'm on the right side of history. And I know that at this stage, most people understand that this is the one method that many people have that want to defend Israel. Will then just, instead of actually like openly defending Israel when it's like very clearly indefensible, people will then turn around and just say like, oh no, all the naysayers are actually doing it for some cynical anti-Semitic purposes. That's it. Most people understand it. At this stage, if you have seen the genuine human toll, if you've seen the casualties, if you've seen the tents on fire, if you've seen the Israeli government bomb elderly people trying to get flour and bring it back to their houses, and you read this article and you go, yeah, this guy seems like a real vicious anti-Semite with all of these stupid ass clips out of context, like it's just a hit piece, and most people understand where Fox News is coming from. Okay, here, this is the full context. So a chatter comes in and says, how do you dismiss accounts of kerosene and burning but do not dismiss sexual violence? Okay, and I tell them the reason why I don't dismiss offhandedly incidents of sexual violence on both October 7 and beyond, and I'll explain exactly why here. One, there is no evidence whatsoever for one. It is completely and utterly made up, but there is a likelihood for the other, and also evidence as far as firsthand testimony from a hostage. That's the difference. Anyway, the problem, however, is that given the intensity and proclivity for the Israeli state to lie about things like this, and also other like non-professional forensic accounting being conducted on October 7, this has muddied the waters so much that understandably many people are like, what the how am I going to believe this? How am I supposed to believe anything that Israel says? There's a perfectly valid criticism to have against the state that has lied every single step of the way. Many hostages have records of saying two different things. Also, how are you sure Israel didn't force them to lie? That's ridiculous. By the way, none of which justifies Israel's actions. So it doesn't even matter. None of this justifies that Palestinians have a right to dignity, a right to emancipation, a right to live free lives, free from this occupation. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if rapes happen on October 7. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much. So that's the other part of this problem that many people that can't contend with. Like, the Palestinian resistance is not perfect. They're not like so good. They have magical bullets, and there's no criminal elements that could have conducted themselves very differently. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me at all. It's so stupid to act like, no, they're perfect. They were perfect on October 7, and they were conducted themselves perfectly. But these kinds of stories delegitimize Palestinian resistance? No, it does not. What the are you talking about? No, you think it delegitimizes Palestinian resistance. Okay? You think so. I don't. That's why this is so silly. Like, it is an ongoing conversation that I'm having with someone who is saying, no, definitely did not occur. And why are you even saying that they might have occurred? And they clipped 17 seconds of that to literally claim falsely that I'm saying like, oh yeah, Palestinians are as a form of resistance. They imply. They said it doesn't matter if rapes happen on October 7, Piker said in a May 22nd stream. It doesn't change the dynamic of Palestinians and Israelis for me. Which is, again, yes, that is literally my assessment. Yes, I do not think that sexual assault occurring justifies genocide. I don't. You cannot engage in ethnic cleansing because sexual assault happened. That is psychotic. So yeah, I think I'm valid, okay? If you were to look at that clip in that short period of time and say, oh, Palestinians were doing resistance rapes and Hassan thinks that's good, then you're a idiot. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's crazy. Piker, a 33-year-old Turkish-American commentator who lives in California and grew up in Istanbul, is a former producer for the far-left internet commentary program, The Young Turks, and is the nephew of its co-creator, Shaky Gurga. His Twitch streams regularly hit over 1 million views, often have as many as 30,000 viewers at a given time. The political commentator has a cult-like leader status among his fans and maintains a Discord server with 125,000 dedicated followers. Many are almost certainly very young, and the minimum age to join Twitch and Discord is 13. A 2022 Pew study found that 22% of teenage boys use Twitch, and a 2020 Statista report revealed 34% of Twitch users are between the ages of 10 and 19. If they think that my audience is between the ages of 10 and 19, they're delusional. We actually have demographics for that. My audience is much older than that, but let's continue. In addition to his massive following on Twitch, Piker has millions more followers on Instagram and X. On YouTube, he regularly posts his Twitch streams to his 1.45 million subscribers. In a recent stream, Piker broadcast propaganda from the Houthis, an Iranian-backed group in Yemen that has been designated by the U.S. as a terrorist group. Instead of explicitly addressing the materials as questionable propaganda, the streamer instead expressed sympathy and admiration for the group. In the stream, which was posted on September 28th, Piker showed fellow Twitch streamer Nick Pollum a Houthi musical released by the militant group and said it was an act of resistance. Now, I can't show you the full context of the clip on this one because I did get a warning for this. So obviously, I don't want to get banned for showing the context of this, music video. But as someone who routinely wears MAGA hats, as someone who has routinely shown the music video Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump leading up to the election, I show a litany of different musicals from a variety of different political perspectives. If you were to compare this to, I don't know, ISIS propaganda videos, you would be wrong. There is obviously a very clear difference there, okay? This is a diss track by the Yemeni population against the Saudi government and the Saudi genocide that was being conducted, the UAE and Saudi America-backed genocide that was happening in Yemen. This was to showcase to Nick Pollum over a 5-hour conversation about the dynamic between resistance groups and the way that they're covered and all the people that are on the receiving end of the bombing campaigns. So they clipped this and said they do musicals about like their actions all the time, Piker said, of the terrorist propaganda. They love walking over the American flag and the Israeli flag side by side. I did say that. They do not care about the heavy missiles. They will literally take the war to them no matter what. For them, it's an act of resistance. You know what I mean, he added. During the same stream, Piker broadcast propaganda video of armed Houthi terrorists seizing a cargo ship and expressed admiration for the group. They're flexing, Piker said. You have to understand, this is a deterrent. Their goal is to film it and show it to the world. They have to massage this with statements like this when what I'm talking about there is, pretty obvious, pretty clear. Yes, they openly stated their desires for why they wanted to implement a blockade on the Red Sea. America institutes blockades all the time, and that is seen as a perfectly valid and perfectly normal, perfectly permissible situation. These guys, regardless of their own internal dynamics, regardless of their own personal politics that I clearly do not agree with, I'm explaining, what their framework is, and I'm offering analysis. But these people, unfortunately, don't want that. There is no room for any sort of analysis whatsoever. There is never any room for analysis. You must not talk about some of the logical steps that any sort of non-state actor or state actor engages in that is outside of the periphery of America. If they are declared foreign adversaries, God forbid you offer any sort of analysis whatsoever. If you do that, that means you love terrorism. That means you agree with every single thing that they've ever done or every single thing that they've ever said. Okay. Pollum did not respond to Fox News Digital's request for comment about the exchanges with Piker. That's pretty funny that they try to get a comment from Nick Pollum. Piker often and passionately defends the anti-imperialist motivations of Middle Eastern terrorist groups. During a stream uploaded to YouTube on October 13th, 2023, Piker berated a viewer who challenged his position on the then nascent Israel-Hamas war. You want every single Palestinian to be executed ruthlessly on the streets so that you can build another theme park on Gaza. You bang pig. You bloodthirsty, violent pig dog. Piker argued, suck my Didn't that go viral on TikTok too? Yeah. I said, you don't want solutions. You don't want to understand why this violence happens. I do. You just want to say, nope, they're barbaric, violent monsters that have no reason to do what they're doing and instead are operating on the boundaries of unlimited anti-Semitism and omega violence that they want to engage in. There is no reason for people to, feel a certain type of way about a nation state that is an apartheid, that is currently conducting a genocide, that has dominated the Palestinian population for 75 years. Once again, analysis not allowed. Though Piker says he's not aligned with Hamas and called October 7 attacks one of the most unjustifiable, unimaginable, and ongoing acts of cruelty shortly after they began, his rhetoric has become more extreme since the Israel-Hamas war began, and he routinely defends violent Palestinian actors from any criticism. This part is really good. I don't feel comfortable placing the blame of a violent settler colony that has killed and displaced tens of millions of Palestinians on Palestine. I don't feel like it's appropriate to lay the blame in the hands of anyone that is resisting against their own brutal occupation, Piker said in an October 19th YouTube video about the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. During an April 18th stream, Piker expressed that Hamas was the lesser evil next to the Israeli military. Now, this part I really like. Why do I really like this? Because they put my full quote in here, and it is objectively true. Hamas, unironically, is the lesser evil of the two, the streamer said. If you look at the civilian casualties,